How quitting social media changed me for good at 36, and how you could do it in 5 simple steps. I'm 36 and I quit using social media 2 years ago, and it changed everything for me. In this video, I'm going to talk about a 5 step plan to quit social media without losing your minds, friends, and daily updates. If you're 20 years or younger, you might find it difficult to relate to some of the things that I'm saying. But if you do grasp the underlying message by the end of this video, it will help you extensively. That being said, if you are above 20, this video is for you. First step, understanding the why. That's the most important part of doing anything in life. Like if your why for doing a certain thing is not clear, then your action plan and your how to do it and your whole motivation behind it, your energy that you put behind that thought and that action is going to define by is going to be defined by the why that you set. The higher or the stronger your why, the stronger and the more successful your action towards it will be. Okay, so first, understanding the why. When social media came out 20 years ago, it was a total game changer, right? The fact that you could connect to someone on the other side of the world for the cost of pennies was not just fascinating, but extremely beneficial in some cases. But it seems like now we've reached a plateau where attracting new customers to their platform seems seems harder and harder each year for the companies due to competition, stagnation of content, and oh my god, repetition. I cannot I cannot just understand this mentality of having a trend that you dance the same 2 steps to the song. Have you heard that song? I can keep a secret here. Oh my goodness, I cannot hear that song for like another time, man. Oof. But the funny part is I don't even know the rest of the song. Okay, I don't only know these 2 lines, and I still hate it to the core. So that's what social media has done. It kind of repeats itself a lot and makes you tired. But anyways, clicking on that app every few minutes, it's doesn't feel much different than picking up a cigarette every few minutes to have a smoke. The smoke at this point is not pleasurable, but you're still compelled to pick it up, as a habit. You're still compelled to smoke it in as a habit. You need to have that smell lingering on your breath, on your fingers, and yeah, it's just something weird that it's not pleasurable, but you still need to have it at some point. Social media, yes, it doesn't hurt as much as a smoke. However, the I'm just comparing the anxious, restless feeling that you get of clicking on that app versus smoking a cigarette, or if you're an alcoholic, you can going for a drink, or I don't know what's your kick, but yeah, it feels more or less the same. Just like money, attention is a real currency, and that's why you pay it. And it's this payment of attention that is costing you the clarity of thoughts that you need to excel in life mentally and physically. The next notification that you're waiting for is taking away the presence in the current moment that you have, and it's causing your thoughts to be muddy, clouded, and drained at the same time. We just do not realize how much life has changed in the last 100 years, right? Like we are going through a once in a lifetime event with the turn of this millennium, where the difference between the thoughts and mindsets of 2 generations have has never been wider or greater. For example, the difference in the thoughts between your grandma and you versus her grandma and her is exponentially higher, right? This is because time is changing. We're going into a new um, age itself, transitioning from the darker ages towards the age of information, towards the age of rights, liberties, and so on and so forth, healthcare. So we just do not realize how much the world has changed in the last 100 years, and the changes, how much the human mind and human thoughts have changed as well in the last 100 years, right? So you have to take that into consideration while using social media, right? This is an activity that none of our ancestors did, and something that we're doing 3 4 hours a day. it can be very daunting on your psyche, on your collective psyche, on your evolved psyche, on the survival type of brain. This is a very leisurely activity that only this generation or the previous generation has been adding on to your lifestyle, and it's taking something out of you. Most people don't realize how easy they are to be tricked. Okay, I don't mean tricked by a Ponzi scheme or by an internet scam or by some caller that's calling you. I mean tricked into losing the control over your senses. Okay, control your over your mind and your body, your thoughts, and your logical ability to think good and bad. I don't. People are so vulnerable. People are so easy to be tricked to not trust their own senses, and instead it's replaced by an authority figure. Like you discard your senses but trust this authority figure, whatever is saying, for discard all your morals and ethics and everything that you know of nature. Keep it aside, just listen to us. People just don't realize how easy it is to convince someone of something or trick someone of something. Okay, so people just do not know how defenseless they are when it comes to like draining and programming their attention. This is how most cults operate, actually, by first capturing your attention and then um, reprogramming you with some new stuff that they want to put in and want to use you for, you know. Social media is one such attention grabbing, I don't want to call it cult, but entity, okay, that is now powered with algorithms which keep you, you know, in that endless thought loop. And it makes you it makes your brain trace its own neural pathways, which kind of causes you to be dumber every day. I don't want to use that word, but it does. Okay, so if you're watching a lot of social media which and in which you don't really get a lot of variety, and you're watching the same content, the same likesing over and over again, yeah, your brain's going to be burned out, and because it's tracing the same neural pathways over and over again. It's not very different than being into a dogmatic religion where you're only taught to believe in a single book, and everything else that you see around you, experience around you, you have to discard it as maybe not the truth or irrelevant information. So social media is becoming something like that. Okay, so you have to be really careful in what you see and what you believe in, and this repetition of information and this retracing of neural pathways is what is causing your attention burnout, and this is what is causing the shortened attention spans in kids and more learning disabilities. It's because of retracing of this neural pathways. Not to forget how sexually charged all the social media content has become, and that was one of my reasons to quit social media, is because it's um, as a younger man, single, it's very hard to focus on your goals if you're constantly being thrown with like raunchy pictures that are very hard to avoid. So, you know, a once very healthy network of community, of knowledge sharing, has now become a cesspool of everything that you want to avoid. People are making important life decisions just to make a post. People are living lives dictated by social media. People are losing real life relationships, jobs, and money for everything that they're posting willfully. Like, I had a friend way back, okay, when social media came out. He took a 3 day long weekend, lied to his boss that he was sick, and then posted that same evening again, also posted a picture from the beach and tagged exactly where he was, which bar he went to, and everything. I mean, I know that's an example of a smart guy that did something very stupid, but he was peer pressured into, you know, posting it. Or it's a funny situation that you how you could explain this, if it was the guy's fault or social media's fault. However, you couldn't ignore the fact that these situations happen, and I'm sure you know someone in your friends or family who screwed his real life because of posting something idiotic online, or whatever, something to do with uh, the online gratitude, for a lack of better word, if you want to call it. So that was step one, understanding your why, as to why you want to quit social media. For me, it was draining me. It was making me do things that I didn't want to do. It was controlling me to some extent, and that little voice inside my head was saying something else, and it wanted to do something else, but social media was convincing me to do something else, and I had to listen to that little voice inside my head which wanted to do something else, and that's why I was convinced to leave social media. And 31st of December of 2022 was my last day on social media. So you see how long it has been, 2.5 years, a little more, I guess. Second step is call your friends and family. I know this could be a very silly thing or sound like a very silly thing. However, most amount of misunderstanding and fights that currently how people are having are over texts, emails, comments, YouTube comments, other things, etc. We just don't realize as well that we are keyboard warriors to some extent. We all are. We like to say very nasty things when we are on a keyboard, but when we are talking to a person, even on the phone without looking at them, we might hold ourselves back and rethink about what we're about to say. But apparently when we have a keyboard in our hand, everything is just off limits. So call your friends. Okay, stop typing, start calling people and your close ones. Leave the typing part for the more professional relationships, where emotions are secondary. This step will alone do you wonders. Stop texting people. Text vendors, text Uber drivers, text um, your grocery delivery person who is trying to save time. Is really doesn't have any emotional relationship with you, and it's a professional conversation. It's a transaction where you're giving something and you're getting something in return. Of course, use text, email. However, for personal relationships like friends, families, and others, nah, I think text is a bad idea. Very bad idea. You can share some images here and there, but man, texting, call people. I hate texting. For the entirety of our human existence, we have never communicated with each other through texts and chats, and most of our conversation, which is most of our conversations right now, maybe coupled with a picture or a video on social media, but our brain and genes are not conditioned for this type of communication. The emptiness that it leaves inside of you, eh, cannot, like, the emptiness of not listening to someone's voice can cause serious misunderstanding and misconception about the person on the other end. So calling, not replying to texts immediately, has also become kind of a style statement, which also leaves a lot of sorrow feelings between people. It's become a style statement. Instead, just call. Maybe instead of texting many times a week, make notes throughout the week and just call them once a week to get an update and say everything that you wanted to. Voice communication minimizes the risks of misinterpretations compared to written messages where tone and intent might be unclear. And hearing someone's voice can really strengthen emotional bonds, and it can foster more personal and genuine relationships, even in professional relationships. Just don't email your client every now and then. Call them once in a while. Okay, it will do you wonders. Okay, trust me, it will do you wonders. During a call, you can even receive like real-time feedback, which you cannot while on a text message or an email. And you might say something a bit too far-fetched without understanding how much the other person is able to receive, or if they're even in the mindset of understanding it, or even if they have the right perspective to read your email. So it's very important that if it's an urgent thing or if it's a serious thing, call them. People even judge someone's character if they like your pictures or not, right? Like, if someone's liking your pictures or not, maybe they didn't just check their social media that day. Maybe they were away, Maybe they're not a person like you who is tempted in checking social media all the time, but this could cause serious miscommunications. Like a while ago, I decided that I'll check my WhatsApp once a day and reply to everyone once a day. This also caused a lot of bitterness on the other side because people are used to getting uh, quick responses, long responses, and chatty responses. But when I switched to replying to people once a day, that kind of got a bit misunderstanding without telling them. So, very important. Call your close ones, stop texting them. Step number two. Step number three, take up a hobby. I know it sounds cliche, but it's the most underrated cliche that anyone would talk about. That hobby is just not something kids have, you know? Adults should have hobbies too. Your work cannot be your hobby. If you make work, I mean, yeah, if you make your hobby your work, of course, you're going to have an amazing life. But if you make your work into your hobby, it will consume you. It will consume you to some extent, and it will make you into a different person. It will make you a corporate, um, for a lack of better word, sellout. And you would not want to be that. You know, God has made everyone so unique and given us so much strength and so much unique creativity and imaginative power. And to put that in a small block in an office chamber and kind of suffocated throughout your life is not really something that you're supposed to be. This is also something you need to understand and look back into history, that being in office spaces in these small cubicles is also something we've not done for ages, or we've never actually done it. It's something that we're doing for the first time in the last 50 years, and our minds and our brains are not just conditioned to do it. Your body is not conditioned to sit in a chair or like throughout your life, 12 hours a day, 9 hours a day, whatever. If you count driving, it's going to be 12 hours a day. So your bodies, our bodies are just not conditioned to do that. Our our ancestors and many before us were probably working with their physique, like with their bodies, and they were having hard jobs. They were training their brain as well as their bodies. So at some point you have to realize this, that this is not something that we were designed to do, but it's just the need of the time right now, that we're sitting in the offices typing some emails and calling it a day at the end of the year, calling it a day at 5 o'clock and going home and sitting in front of the TV again. So, yeah, we're not meant to do that, right? Take up a hobby. Cutting this endless loop and escaping this drain of attention is what helped me. However, this did not happen overnight, right? For the first 1 or 2 months, you experience withdrawal symptoms and you're constantly tempted to click on the app or download it again if you've deleted it, and feeling this sense of guilt that you're missing out on life, you're missing out on people, and you're kind of betraying them by not seeing their posts. Have you felt that? I felt that hey man, I've posted so many posts over the years, people have liked it, but now I'm not there to see their post when it's their time to post. Cut this out, okay? Stop thinking about likes, dislikes, and social media as something that you hold dear and near to. Call people, build relationships, real relations. Tell them that, hey man, I've stopped using social media, and from now on, I'll be calling you once every 3 months, once every 2 months. However, whenever you want to call me, man, I'm right open. So you can call me anytime. Okay, be available, but yeah, not over text, not over likes, not over stories. Be really available. This exact feeling, however, of guilt is what you need to shake off, like I said, and a smarter way to do it is by having lesser amount of withdrawal symptoms. And how would you have lesser amount of withdrawal symptoms? Is if you replace um, that that dopamine requirement, that dopamine flow that you were getting from social media. Now you're replacing it through doing something else which you really like. Yeah. So take up a hobby. For me personally, one of the biggest dreams that I had was writing a book. I'll put my book somewhere here. And yeah, writing a book. So I finally got to writing a book after like 4 or 5 months of quitting social media. It did take me some time. Okay, I quit means I stopped looking into it. I still have the app in case the people message me or whatever. So I started writing a book. It took like good amount of 4 hours a day for me to get involved and really put my thoughts into it. Right. So you need to identify one or two activities that you really like and take out the time that you would usually take to do things. And um, y- you have to make sure that you pick the activities that mimic your activity on social media. For example, um, you should pick something that tickles your mind as well as your body, and not like physically tickle, but yeah, painting can be really good segue into this. It requires a certain amount of hand-eye coordination and skill and technique with your fingers and your brushes and the way you hold them, but it also needs mental creativity. It also kind of triggers your thoughts and your neural pathways to go in other directions that they haven't been traced before. Okay, this is what you're looking for. This is how people are enlightened, is through having a fully developed neural pathway in their brain, which is not retraced. Okay, which they can access, and they're wide enough that they can access any part of your brain, any information that's needed in the matter of seconds. So let your neural pathways trace paths that they've never traced before. Do something that you are a little bit afraid of, a little bit anxious of, such as painting, pottery, um, origami, some other arts and crafts, gardening, internal like interior decoration of your house, making an aquarium. This is also something that I did as a part of my weaning off from social media. Is this is a completely bioactive aquarium that I made under $50. Maybe I'll make a video on it sometimes, that how to make a $50 aquarium under a budget. But this is literally a $50 aquarium that I made after quitting social media, after I was done, or before writing the book and after quitting social media is when I built this aquarium to take my mind off. And then I filmed it. I researched the heck out of it first, actually, and I understood my why for making the aquarium as well. And then the how just flowed. And that's how this came up to be. Then my book and many other things that would be hard to kind of put into a 20-minute video right now. So yeah, start something. Start something. Read my book also if you want. Doing this will mimic your current addiction to social media, where you're currently like mentally stimulated to a slightly doing something slightly physical, but then you're also mentally stimulated for the most part. Yeah, this will take care of the other addictions as well, such as corn and soft corn off the social media. Painting with someone, painting at public places will help you get like over these urges faster. Get busy as possible with your hobby and slowly wean out the social media time that your hobby is taking out. Okay, if you're not able to completely give it up, if you keep doing this, at some point your body and mind will just know when to stop using completely like social media completely. And you will be sure. Let's just make sure you listen to that call of your body, that little thought, that inner voice. Just make sure you listen to it. Keep your messenger active. Maybe delete the media or block the media notifications from social media, but keep the messenger active so you don't miss out on any conversation. If it's a silly joke or if it's a silly reel that someone's sharing, just ignore it. But if it's a important message, of course, respond to them, or maybe take over, respond to them from WhatsApp, or just call them and say, hey, I've stopped using social media, so I'm just going to call you from now on if you have anything. That will keep things genuine. That was step number 3, is choose a hobby. Choose something that you always wanted to do and start doing it. Just start it, okay? If you saw my first painting, you would go crazy. But now I make crazy stuff. I draw portraits and very intricate caricatures. So yeah, just start with it and you never know. I didn't know I even had a creative bone in my body when I picked up a brush, but wow, look at me now. I'll show you some of my pictures. Number 4, I mean step number 4 is monetize your hobby. It's very important. What this will do is, I know I'm not saying quit your job to replace it with monetizing your hobby. It will not generate that amount of income. However, if you monetize your activity that is replacing your addiction, this monetization of your new activity will become your new addiction, but in a positive way. You know, being an OCD is good if you're OCD in a positive way. But if you're OCD in a negative way, that's what's going to affect you. You have to understand nothing is objectively good or bad in this world. Okay, a gun, a sword, uh, a venom from a snake. Nothing is objectively good or bad. It's how you use it and what you put it to use is what will define its final outcome. Okay. Similarly, having a positive addiction like monetizing your hobby and working towards it, it's not bad. Okay, have that, but make sure you don't get consumed by it. Monetize your hobby and monetize your passion. It's not very hard. Okay, it could be very rewarding and it will motivate you tenfold. If you start receiving some kind of monetary returns from your hobby, it will motivate you tenfold to do it more. So, for example, I always wanted to write a book, like you said, right? And I didn't want to really publish it. But when I actually went to publish it and I got into it, I learned so much more about the publishing business and what's going on in the current reading world and how many people are really reading books and how many books are being sold, and that kind of change that kind of also dictated why I'm making this video, is because I've noticed that people are not really reading books anymore. People like to listen to things, and rightly so. I'm in that category as well. Instead of spending I don't know how many days to read a book, I would rather listen to it in 2 days and take all the information. After all, it's the information that you're after, right? So that's how I got into making videos. Instead of writing a blog about how you can quit social media in 5 steps, here I am making a video of how you could quit it in 5 steps. And we are currently on step number 4, which is monetizing your hobby. So it's very easy currently with Etsy, with eBay, with Poshmark, Shopify, and oh my God, so many platforms like this. Facebook Marketplace is my favorite go-to platform for selling my things, and I've published my book on Amazon, so now you don't have to spend like thousands of dollars to even be a publisher, right? You can self-publish your book on Amazon, and you can even traditionally publish your book from a publisher. Your options are wide open with this internet. So instead of the internet and the social media trying to choke you, how about you use it for your own benefit, right? First, create a hobby, create a training plan. If you're good at something, create a training plan and sell that. Sell a course, sell a cookery class, try to sell a syrup that you made, try to sell some jams that you're good at making, maybe some weeds from your from your backyard if you're into growing some dope, which is legal totally in Canada. So the possibilities are endless to monetize your hobby. Again, I'm not saying it you will be as good as to replace your full-time income, but you will be as good as to replace your Instagram addiction, your social media addiction. Okay, now again, using Instagram to sell these things could be another game changer as well. But however, try using some other platforms which are actually meant for selling things, like as I said, Etsy, Shopify, Poshmark. marketplace, etc., etc. Okay. um, Here are some of the tips that you can use to identify what your niche could be when you try to quit social media. Define what specific aspect of hobby you can excel at, right? Try creating good quality content that can give some real value to people. Sell products and services online. Use e-commerce platforms. Monetize your content using someone else's platform, such as doing promotions, affiliate marketing, and collaborating with someone and stuff like that, you know. Network and collaborate with people. Go to events, go to conventions, go to some real places to meet people instead of chat boxes and online communities. That's an old thing now, right? That's an old thing now, I believe. That was step number 4. Monetize your hobby. How much money I have made from my hobby? Not much. I'll be very honest. Not much, because like I told, selling books, selling paintings is could be hard stuff, but it will get you involved. It will get you kicking. It will match you up with like-minded people, and it will build a whole new community for you, which is not based on clicks and likes and views. It will be based on some real returns in that you get from it. Okay, so step number 4 is monetize your hobby. If you cannot do any of these, let's say you're not very techno savvy and you don't want to start a Poshmark account, create a bank account to link with it and all that, just film what you're doing on YouTube, learn some basic editing, and put it online, and I think you'll be good to go. You'll eventually start making money. Do it well, do it for a year or two, you'll see the money rolling. Step number 4 was monetizing your hobby. Step number 5, this could be a weird one if you think about it, but step number 5 is eat before 7 p.m. and you should be in bed before 9 p.m. and you should be sleeping before 10 p.m. I don't know how to explain this, okay, but this tip alone has helped me to solve many problems in life. Maybe I won't be able to explain this step, and I'll just let you figure it out why this happens. Okay, it's hard to explain, it'll take too long, there'll be too many people saying ifs and buts, so I'll just let you figure this out. But eat before 7, be in bed at 9, and be asleep by 10. And this will solve a lot of your problems. Your internet scrolling at night, your brain kind of running on 50 miles an hour, and then the thoughts racing through your mind endlessly. This will all cut it out. Okay. This will also make you wake up early and get things started. And when you do start waking up early, things kind of change. Things really change. So, in order to do this, if you want to sleep at 9, if you want to eat at 7, you got to have a meal plan. You have to make some extra food when you're cooking your lunch, or when you're making breakfast, when you're leaving at your house in the morning, or you need to find a good plan that you will have your food ready to eat at 7 and you'll be done eating by 7:15 and you'll be in bed by 9. Install a night light on your camera. Install some alarms to turn off your TV at 6 or 7. And then after you're done with your dinner, have a small walk, maybe walk your dog and wash your feet. That kind of relaxes your blood pressure, and all the fluids in your body kind of mellow down. And then try doing a productive activity for the last half hour before, or 1 hour before you go to sleep, such as I preferably write something, like write a script, write a thought, write a poem, if you're into that, if you're good at that. And that will kind of tire your brain to take a break. Usually 45 minutes is the dedicated attention span for a human attention, especially for people who are under 40, 45 years of age. 45 minutes is an attention span. That's why school periods are usually 40 to 50 minutes. um, so By the time you reach that 45-minute, 50-minute mark of your activity, it will be 9 o'clock and you will be pretty much dizzy and you will be ready to sleep and take a break from your attention span. Use that tiredness, use that natural end of your attention span, then to enter into a very nice sleep. This will put you into a very deep sleep, instant sleep, and just sit up from whatever you were doing and just walk to your bed and lie down and fall asleep while thinking of what you were doing creatively, like writing a script, thinking of your next painting, thinking of your next pot that you were going to make, and try your like let your brain kind of do its thinking when you were sleeping, when you're at sleep. And when you wake up in the morning, you will realize probably you will even have a good dream overnight, a new idea that you need to implement. And when you wake up in the morning, you will have a better idea from nowhere. This is also a good way to become more creative, is sleep on your idea and then wake up with it and complete it in the morning. Okay? This is something that I use too. And this was not just a really nice trick to get me off social media, but this was a really nice way to just reorganize my life into a better one. Have more productive time on hand, have so much time to exercise, and yeah, this eating before 7, in bed at 9, and sleep at 10. If you follow these 5 steps, you will not just be on your way to quitting social media and taking out of uh, taking yourself out as a consumer of social media, but it will also put you on an express path on achieving something that you always wanted to do. Yeah, this feeling of achievement is what will like fuel your next step for motivation. Okay, it will fuel your dopamine requirements that you have from social media, and it will completely leave your brain satisfied without a void that the social media has now created. I hope these 5 steps will help you in quitting social media. If you have any questions, post them down in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.